Hey, fancy listeners. Francesca Hampton here, and I am honored that you took time to tune in once again. And I'm committed to sharing content that will make you glad you did. So, welcome to the Fancy Thoughts Podcast, a weekly podcast designed to give you perspective, insight, and encouragement to release the greatness inside of you. I want you to live fancy life, where you are fostering achievement, never compromising you, because someone is waiting for you. Before we get into this week's fancy thought, you know how we do. Let's recap what we talked about last week. Last week, we spoke about taking a step, one at a time. We talked about how we need to move forward, doing something that gets us closer to the goals that we want to accomplish. But we also talked about not trying to do everything all at one time, but instead taking each step one at a time. That's how we're going to continue to move forward in releasing greatness, because someone is waiting for us. And with that, let's get started with this week's fancy thought. I'm actually really excited about this week's topic because I am confident that once again, it's building on all of the things that we've been talking about over the past few weeks. But I'm also excited because I have seen this very thing play out in situations in my own life as well as the life of those I'm close to. So with that, this week, our fancy thought is get out of your comfort zone. I'm going to say it again. Get out of your comfort zone. Now, we've heard the conversations or heard different topics about comfort zone, right? And what is a comfort zone? Well, the way that we normally know it is your comfort zone is that place where things seem pretty easy. Things seem pretty normal. They seem comfortable. Comfort zone, right? It's the area where you can do what you do almost blindfolded, or it's the area where you feel the most secure, the most confident, and you're able to just simply flow. And so normally, who would want to get out of their comfort zone? It's a place that, you're in your groove, you're moving forward, you're still doing something. Why do we need to get out of our comfort zone? Well, today I'm here to challenge you that in order to release the greatness that's on the inside of you, in order for you to truly step forward, in order for you to truly accomplish everything that you were designed for, purposed for, created for, you're gonna have to get out of your comfort zone. Why? Because your comfort zone doesn't require you to challenge yourself. It doesn't require you to take a risk. It doesn't require you to push beyond what's comfortable. And there are many times where in different areas of our lives, we have gotten stuck in that comfort zone. Perhaps it's on your job. Perhaps it's in your marriage. Perhaps it's in your taking care of yourself, right? We talked about self-care and we talked about how we need to prioritize taking care of ourselves. We need to be somewhat selfish in deciding that our well-being is just as important as everything else that we pour into. And therefore, we prioritize ourselves. But that requires us to step outside of our comfort zone at times because it might be easier, more comfortable to just keep going, more comfortable to take care of the kids, take them to their games, make sure you're doing their homework, fix the food for your spouse, make sure that you're being a good mother, a good father, a good brother, a good sister, a good daughter, a good son, a good coworker, a good friend, a good everything except a good to you. If only I could think of a better way to say that. Right? We have prioritized everyone else instead of ensuring that in that list of prioritization, it includes us, right? And so in order for us to do that, it means we might have to step out of our comfort zone. We might have to rearrange and restructure our day so that there is a portion set aside for us. But that might not be comfortable. That might be uncomfortable. It might be unfamiliar. It might seem foreign. And so it's easier just not to do it. The reality is most people stay in their comfort zone simply because it's comfortable. And I know I'm using the same word to describe a scenario, but I think it's important to hear it this way, right? When you're comfortable, there's nothing that is pressing you or stressing you for the most part, right? That doesn't mean that little things don't come along and there aren't small things that, may bother you or even may challenge you. But I wonder if you were to truly ask yourself, is there anything right now in your life that's pushing you outside of what you would normally do? Here's an example. Let's say that you are working on a project, right? And the project is something that you would normally do. Let's say that you wanted to rearrange a room in your house. right? And so you do this. This is something that you do on a consistent basis, but you want to go out of the color palette. Let's say you wanted to try something different. Well, the initial thought was, I don't want to do that. I'm familiar and I like these colors. I'm a neutrals person. So I want to stay in the beiges and I want to stay in the light blues, or, something that stays either with an earth tone. Blue is so not an earth tone, but, something that stays closer to a neutral color that can blend in with anything. That's your comfort zone. But what if I were to challenge you and say, paint outside of your comfort zone? Even the very thought of that for some people makes them uncomfortable. Like, you want me to paint a different color? You want me to venture outside of my natural palette of neutral colors? What color could you mean? Imagine I said, I want you to paint green. Green? Green is nothing like what I would normally do, right? And so the very thought of doing that, going to the store and looking at green colors, or getting a swatch book and looking at green and just looking at it. And even while you're thinking about it, you're like, this color is ugly. This color doesn't go with anything I own. This color just doesn't even sit well with my personality. Now, that may seem like a very simple or even silly example, because everyone has their preferences and you are completely entitled to put whatever color that you desire on your walls. But however, I want you to pay attention to the concept and the emotions and the feelings and the discomfort surrounding doing something different than what you're used to doing, because that's really what it means to get out of your comfort zone. When you are being pushed to do something that is outside of what you're used to doing, outside of your norm, outside of your comfort level. I want to show it to you in a different way. Of course, I looked up the word comfort zone in the dictionary. So in our first dictionary, always the Collins, it says, your comfort zone is a situation or position in which a person feels secure, comfortable, or in control, right? So most times, if you're in your comfort zone, it's a place where you feel secure. You know that you can do whatever it is that you need to do in this area, or in this area. You know that you feel comfortable about what you can do, what you can accomplish, what areas that you can pull a little bit more here and give a little bit more there. And you feel in control. You know exactly how to pull those levers. You know exactly how to navigate in this situation. That's your comfort zone. And again, that sounds perfect. Everybody should know what that is. But again, if we're talking about releasing greatness means that you have to challenge yourself. As we always say, you are well able, fully capable, and properly equipped to accomplish everything that you were designed, purposed, and created for. But that doesn't mean that all of those things are in full operation right now. It doesn't mean that they are in full manifestation right now. Some of those things are lying dormant because you're sitting in your comfort zone. For example, let's say that you believe that you've been called to be a great speaker. You've been called to speak before thousands, and you've been called to speak about a particular topic. But at this point, you only like to do a podcast. You only like to write things down. You don't like being out in front of others, even though you know deep down well inside that you have been called to speak before others, to stand before others declaring a particular truth, a particular concept, or particular idea, and that you know that if you were to get that out, it could be received. So instead of pushing yourself to become more confident in front of others, instead of pushing yourself into becoming more available and exercising those particular type of opportunities that would allow you to speak before crowds, you instead figure that you could write it out and give it to someone else to speak. Or you can, record it in advance and then play it for others to hear. That's what it means staying in your comfort zone, because it's a place where you feel secure, you feel comfortable, and you're in control. There's no external person that can interrupt you if you've recorded it in advance. There's no person that can judge you or be critical about you if you wrote it down, because you won't hear them when they read it out. That's your comfort zone. And I'm challenging you to step outside of that. I'm challenging you that today is the day where we need to find those areas where we have gotten complacent in our comfort zone and determine that we're going to push past that. Now, let me read to you a different definition. And this one, when I read it, blew my mind, and it got me even more excited about today. In the Cambridge Dictionary, comfort zone is defined as a situation in which you feel comfortable and in which your ability and determination are not being tested. Wow. Let me say that again. A situation in which you feel comfortable and in which your ability and determination are not being tested. Once again, it's a place where you feel comfortable. You don't have to prove anything because you're comfortable doing it. You've been doing it for so long. Everybody knows that you can do it. There's nothing that you have to do to prove to yourself or to anyone else that you have any other abilities or any other qualities or skills, because this is what you do well. Your determination is not being tested because it's something that comes easy to you. You don't have to press for it. You don't have to push for it. You don't have to strive for it. You just do it. And you do it well. There's nothing wrong with what you can do in your comfort zone. The only thing that I'm saying is that there's more. There's more for you. There's more in you. And it's time for that to come out. We have to push ourselves beyond the point where our ability and determination are not being tested. You want your determination to be tested because that's when you know you're stepping into something that's worth something, right? They say a gift isn't really a gift if it didn't cost the person who gave it anything. Right? If you give me a gift that somebody else gave to you and you're regifting it, and I find out that gift has no value, it has no meaning. Now, mind you, if someone gave you something and you knew that it meant something to me, and then you gave it to me, even though you liked it, that's a sacrifice, right? A gift is a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice maybe be of your money or of your time or, something that you're giving of yourself to someone else. Swapping is just swapping. And yes, you can re-gift it, but think about how you felt if somebody said, oh, somebody gave me this candle. I don't even like candles, so I'm gonna give it to you. I didn't even have to put thought into that. I simply went into the closet, saw something that I didn't want and gave it to you. I don't want that, right? So how that relates back to what we're talking about is in order to walk into greatness, in order to step into greatness, in order to release greatness, it needs to cost you something. It needs to cost you determination. It needs to cost you a decision. It needs to cost you push. We talked about pressing a couple of weeks ago. Your greatness requires you to press, and your press requires you to be determined. Right? It means that you have to be willing to push past something. And today I'm telling you that thing you need to push past is your comfort zone. That area where you've become comfortable, that area where you've begun coasting, that area where you can do it with your eyes closed and you don't even think about it. That's how you know you're in your comfort zone. And if you want to do something more, you have to push yourself more. You say, well, why would I ever want to do that? The very thing that I'm comfortable doing is the thing that helps me to make a living. It showcases my skills and my expertise. Why would I want to push past that? Why would I want to stop doing that? I'm not saying stop. I'm saying take it to another level. I'm saying whatever you're doing right now, I guarantee that there is a greater level of it. I guarantee that if you are a teacher, there's another level of your teaching that you can achieve or that you can tap into. I guarantee that if you're an executive and you have a thriving business, there's another level of business that you can obtain. I guarantee that as a parent, there's another level of parenting that you can reach. As a spouse, there's another level of loving, giving, and serving that you can reach. Wherever you are, there's another level that you can obtain, but it's going to require you to get out of your comfort zone. Again, when we're recognizing that someone is waiting for us, they're not waiting for the comfortable us. They're not waiting for the just getting by us. They're not waiting for the complacent us. They're waiting for the fullness of the manifestation of our authentic self to come forth, because that's what they need. They need the fullness of you. They need the full capacity of what you have to offer. And when you are staying in your comfort zone, you are holding a piece of that capacity back, whether you realize it or not. Let me read that definition to you again. A situation in which you feel comfortable and in which your ability and determination are not being tested. This week, I encourage you to step into doing something that you would normally do, but do it better. Do it to the point where you doing it requires additional effort. Do it to the point where you accomplishing it requires you to step outside of what you would do on a day-to-day basis. Whatever that looks like and whatever that may be. Because there is greatness inside of you. There is more inside of you. And the authenticity of the fullness of yourself is what someone else needs. That's what's going to get the job done. That's what's going to release the greatness. That's what's going to be the solution to the unique needs that you were designed to meet. Someone is waiting for you, and they're waiting for you to be the full, authentic manifestation of yourself. And that requires you to get out of your comfort zone. Thank you for joining us for the Fancy Thoughts podcast. I'm Francesca Hampton, and I look forward to you tuning in again next week. And remember, you are well able, fully capable, and properly equipped to accomplish everything you were created for. So go and make this week a great one.